Rama Rama, Namaste everyone. Welcome you all to session 33 of Samskritasri Pathamala 2. Today we'll look at lesson 23, which is about dhatus. Prarthana. Shuklam Varadharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vikhnopashantaye Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Jnananandamayam Devam Nirmala Kritim Adharam Sarva Vidyanam Hayagrivam Upasmahe Saraswati Namastestu Veena Pustakadharini Hamsavahanam Arudhe Vidyadanam Kurushvame. So, this is the lesson 23. With this, all the major topics are covered. The rest of the lessons are only about revision of what we have learned earlier. There are just some vritti and vrittikaraha, vrittikrit, a lesson which follows. That is just to learn what are the different professions or occupations and the people who are involved in it. Just the names of those we have to learn. So even in dhatus, it is mostly just getting familiar with the different, the verbal roots and which conjugations they come under. So as an introduction, it is said that Maharshi Panini, he composed the Ashtadhyayi. Ashtadhyayi has 4,000 grammar sutras. So in that he refers to a dhatu patha. Dhatu patha itself has been compiled by him. It has roughly 2,000 dhatus. 1950 is mentioned in the book, but it is not a very precise number. There are some differences of opinion. So around 2,000 dhatus have been compiled in it. And the dhatus have been divided into ganas. They are also called the vikaranas or conjugations. There are 10 such ganas or groups into which he has divided the dhatus. So the division is based on the vikarana pratyaya. So when we have lat lakara, padhati, padh, and ti, there are three parts. So is the vikarana pratyaya of the first gana. So like that, depending on the vikarana pratyaya, we group them into different types. So the most commonly seen dhatus are from 1, 4, 6 or 10. So in fact, mostly all the dhatus that we have seen are from one of these four ganas, especially the first gana. First gana covers most of the dhatus out of these 2,000. So, as I told you, this present tense, path and ti, and is called the vikarana pratyaya. For the fourth gana, ya is the vikarana pratyaya. Sixth gana, again, is the vikarana pratyaya, but there are certain other differences between the first and the sixth. And the 10th gana, it is aya. Aya is the vikarana pratyaya. So when we see those dhatus, we will be able to find out what changes have been made in order to add the vikarana pratyaya and the ting pratyaya. As we saw earlier, a pada can either be a nama pada or a verb. So in a verb, a ting pratyaya is added, tinganta pada or subanta pada. A ting pratyaya is added at the end, but before that we add the vikarana pratyaya. So this group of 1, 4, 6, 10 can be divided again into simple roots, those in which you just add the vikarana pratyaya and the ting pratyaya and to get the form kridanta pada. Or you add there are certain roots which undergo changes, but you can predict the type of changes that they undergo. They follow a pattern. In some, there are completely, complete variations in the type of forms that they assume while using them in the dhatu rupa. So the irregular roots undergo a lot of changes and they do not come under any particular root. So you'll not be able to put them under any classification as such, but they still fall under the one of these 10 ganas. So we have to group them accordingly. In this lesson, it is just, learning the different dhatus and the meanings. We have seen this dhatu, atati, wandering. So in this, if somebody wants to try to read this and make simple sentences, you can try to do that. Usha Divate Bhagini.
Namaskara Bhagini.
Namaskara.
Prabhatam.
Namaskara.
At dhatuhu parasmaipadi atati wanders. Do you want me to make sentence?
Yeah, you can try and make a simple sentence.
Ramaha vane atati.
Arch. So in arch, we use archayati more frequently. This dhatu is there both in the first gana and in the 10th gana also. So in the 10th gana, as we saw, aya is the vikarana pratyaya. So it becomes archayati. Archati is also there in the same meaning, praise or worships.
Archati, worships. Vayam devam archayamaha.
That is archayamaha, that is 10th gana. So archamaha will be the first gana.
Archamaha.
So here the archati form is given. So we use archamaha.
Arhati, deserves. Aham parikshayam uttirnaha arhati. Arhami.
Aham uttirna bhavitum arhami. In order, I deserve to pass this exam.
Okay. Avati protects. Ramaha Sitam Avati. Irshayati, being jealous. Poor people, Durjanaha, Dhanikam Drishtva Irshayati.
Durjanaha, if you say in plural, it will be
Irshyanti. Irshyanti. Kankshati, desires. Janaha, desires. Paritoshikam Kankshanti. Kujati. Kokilaha Pratidinam. No, in the morning.
Prataha
Kujati. Kvanati, sounds.
It is just to make an
Maya Kvanati Samyak. Maya Kvanati.
No, this is a verb. So
a verb. Kvanati. Sounds make big noise. How do I say, Bhagini?
Pashavaha Kvananti. So the animals make Pashavaha. Pashuhu Pashavaha.
Pashavaha kvananti.
They make unintelligible noises, right? So kvananti.
Kvananti. Pashavaha kvananti.
Samyak Bhagini.
Dhanyavada.
Dhanyavada. So there are many dhatus in the first gana. The list is quite big. Creed we have seen many times. Anne Marie, would you like to try?
Namaste.
Namaste.
क्रीड क्रीडति बालकः बालकः क्रीडाङ्गणं क्रीडति
Kridangane kridati.
क्रीडाङ्गणे okay. खनति digs
Say karmakaraha. Yeah, karmakaraha is a worker. Bhumim khana.
भूमिं खनति खेलति बाला कन्दुकं खेलति
Kandukena khelati.
कन्दुकेन खादति अहं भोजनं खादामि गदति tells सः कवितां गदति गर्जति roars सिंहः उच्चैः गर्जति
Samyak.
Gunj
is like the humming of the bees.
So, resonates or vibrates. Resonates is like bell is resonates also.
Yes.
Gunj. What is the name of the bell?
Ghanta.
Ghanta. Samyak gujanti.
Gunjati.
Guhati hides. Bidalah mushakam guhati.
Bidalah, the cat hides the mouse?
The mouse after she catches.
Okay. Bidalah mushakam guhati. Uttam. Samyak.
Dhanyavada.
Samyak prayatnam kritam. Dhanyavada. Sri Ram Venkatesh.
Namaste, Acharya.
Ram. Namaste.
Charati. Gajah. Vane charati.
Samyak.
Chalati. Moves.
What moves?
Vahanam. Vahanam. Chalati. Vahanam chalati.
Sorry, I didn't hear the second word.
Vahanam parvate chalati.
Oh, okay. Good. So in the book, I think it is given as cham. It should be cham. I think it should be cham and chamati. And when it is added to a, the prefix upasarga, it becomes achamati. Like the achamanam, sipping water from the hand.
Ramaha chamati.
Uttam.
Chumbati. Kisses. Ramaha Sita Ramam chumbati. Chushati.
Chushati. Sucks.
Chushati. Sucks. Krishnaha dugdham chushati. Balaha dugdham chushati. Jayati conquers. Ramaha.
Correct.
Ravanam jayati.
Jayati. Samyak.
Jalpati. Pratu. Jeevati.
Jalpati is to, just talk, be talkative is Jalpati. Jalpanam is just to chat with, not something that is important, just some gossip or say, just informal talk.
Krishnaha Satyabhamabhyam Satyabhama Krishnam Jalpati. Krishna chats
No,
with
this doesn't require an object, so you can just say
Aham sayankale
Chhatra. Correct. Aham, you can't jalpanam is done with a group of people, so you can say Chhatraha sayankale jalpanti.
Jalpanti. Jeevati lives.
Yes. Meenaha kutra jeevati.
Meenaha samudre jeevati.
Samudre jeevati. Samyak. Uttamam. Shriram. Dhanyavadaha. Amita Bhargava, Bhagini. Ramara. We are unable to hear you properly. Sorry.
Shilpikar. It is sculptor.
Which one?
A sculptor. This is
Jwalati, is it?
Jwalati.
Jwalati. Jwalati is burns.
Vane. Parnam.
Jwalati. Parnani jwalanti.
Parnani. Agnim.
Agnau. Agni. Right? So it is Agnau. Jwalanti. Takshakaha is a carpenter, so he can do takshakarma. So takshakaha.
Shilpikar.
Shilpakaraha.
Shilpakaraha murtim takshati.
Takshanti. So the Shilpakaraha, then it will be takshanti.
Dalati breaks. Who will break some vessel or something?
Okay. It can be anything that is broken. Dalati.
पात्रं
कः पात्रं दलति?
अधः
हा, अधः पातयित्वा दलति। महिला
महिलायाः हस्तेन पात्रं दलति। पात्रेण दलति।
पात्रं दलति।
पात्रं दलति।
ओके।
दशति bites. Dashati bites. So it will be mosquito or mashikaha. Mashikaha
दशन्ति। प्लूरल।
हस्तेन
हस्तं दशन्ति।
हस्तं और पादं
दशन्ति।
नटति एक्स। नाटकारः
नटः, he is called a नटः रंगभूमौ नटति, on the stage he acts.
रंगभूमौ नटति। नंदति rejoices. माता और
what does she do?
माता पुत्रं दृष्ट्वा नन्दति। नदति make sound. Naughty children. Naughty would be
षठाः बालकाः.
Not घट.
That is षठाः
बालकाः
नदन्ति.
निन्दति condemn.
To scold.
अध्यापकाः बालकान्
anything, बालकं और बालकान् both are okay.
निन्दति.
अध्यापकः बालकं निन्दति. उत्तमं, सम्यक् भगिनि, धन्यवादः. गीता कृष्णमूर्ति भगिनी.
नमस्कारः भगिनी.
नमस्कारः.
अहम् अद्य एव आगच्छामि. इदानीं अहं प्रयत्नं करोमि, परन्तु किमस्ति पठति. छात्रः संस्कृतं पठति.
सम्यक्.
पतति. वृक्षात् पर्णं पतति.
सम्यक्.
फलति bears fruits. मम गृहे वृक्षे मम गृहे कदलीफलवृक्षं फलति.
सम्यक्. भजति
seeks. भक्ताः देवं भजति.
भक्ताः भजन्ति.
सम्यक् क्षम्यतां. भक्ताः देवं भजन्ति. बहुवचनमस्ति. भणति. चल्स्. भणति अर्थात् वदति. छात्रः गृहम् आगत्य मातामहीं सर्वं भणति
सम्यक्
भणति भषति ओ बार्क्स् शुनकः चोरं दृष्ट्वा शुनकः भषति भ्रमति भ्रमति अर्थात् गमनं करोति किल
गमनं करोति यथा भूमिः सूर्यं परितः भ्रमति rotate or to revolve, both are bhramati. Or to just wander also is bhramati.
अहम् एकं किञ्चित् हास्यमस्ति क्षम्यतां बालकः बालिका परितः भ्रमति
सम्यक्
वक्तुं शक्नोमि किल मन्थति churns देवः समुद्रं देवाः समुद्रं मन्थन्ति देवाः समुद्रं मन्थन्ति
उत्तमः प्रयत्नः
धन्यवादः
उर्मिला भगिनी
राम राम भगिनी नमस्ते
राम राम नमस्ते
मीलति closes the eye बिडालः मीलति
हाँ नेत्रं मीलति नेत्रे मीलति
मूर्छ ओके गीता रथ दृष्ट्वा मूर्छति
रक्तं
दृष्ट्वा मूर्छति रक्षति राजा राज्यं रक्षति
सम्यक्
रटति makes sound washing machine
शालकयन्त्रं
बहु
वस्त्राणि ओके
बहु रटति उच्चैः sound is
रटति उच्चैः रटति make sound itself is ratati
okay उच्चैः रटति उच्चैः ringati crawls the baby what's the baby all of a sudden
shishuhu
shishuhu षट् मासे लिंगति lingati is embraces okay
mostly we use it with alinganam alingati
oh yes okay alinganam embraces mitram saha mitre linganti
so mitram is the one doing the action
lingati vadati aham संस्कृते भाषा प्रयत्नं वदति प्रयत्नं करोति should come isn't it
Prayatnam karomi. Samskritena vadami.
Vadami. Samskritena
Samskritam vadami or Samskritena vadami.
vadami. Vam. Vam is vomiting. Vamati. Ramaha Purana Khaditam Khaditva Vada Vamati.
Paryushitam. You can say Paryushitam Bhojanam Khaditva Vamati. One which is stale food. So he ate stale food and vomits.
Stale food is parishotakam. Is it?
Paryushitam.
Paryoshitam khatva
Bhojanam
khaditva vamati.
Vamati. Uttam. Samyak Bhagini. Dhanyavadah.
Dhanyavadah.
Actually, I'm pleasantly surprised that everyone is doing quite well, because this is, you're not prepared with this. But it's interesting. Padma Bhagini.
Ram Ram.
Ram Ram. Namaste. Just a second.
Vasati lives. Aham Chennai Nagare Vasami.
Vasam. Samyak.
Vancha. Vanchati desires. Balaha Kandukam Vanchati.
Balaha is Vanchanti.
Vanchanti. Shamsati. Praises.
So from this we get prashamsa. Prashamsa is praise, isn't it? We are familiar with that word. So prashamsati is to praise. Shamsati is also to praise.
Kavaye.
Kavayaha.
Kavayaha. Nrupam.
Shamsanti. Uttam.
Tivati spits. Aham.
Vityam na shtivami.
Vityam
na shtiva.
Skandati leaks. Patram.
Patrat from the vessel.
Jalam skandati. Hasati. Hasati laughs. Balika Chalachitram Drishtva Hasati.
Samyak.
Hikkati. Hiccup. Bhojanam Kadit.
So here you can use the present participle, right? So the Shatru Pratyaya that we learned, you can apply it here. Can you try? So khadati, khadat will be the form. So depending on whether it is masculine, feminine, or neuter.
Rama khaditva. Bhojanam khaditva hikkati.
You have used the tva pratyayanta. That is also khaditva hikkati.
Hrasati becomes small. Kshiram. I want to say while cooking it becomes
Kwatitva hrasati.
Kwatitva hrasati.
Kwatitam is something that boils. So hrasati.
Kwatitam. Second ka.
Kwatati. Kwatati.
Okay.
Dhanyavada.
Dhanyavada.
So here the forms are a little different. So these are the regular roots. So far we saw that, just a second. Most of the dhatus, all the dhatus that we saw till now in the first conjugation, we just added a as the vikarana pratyaya. Char, a and ti, charati. Similarly, chal, a and ti, chalati. So all these dhatus have a halanta ending. Char, chal, makara, bakara, etc. If the next step is where the dhatus have a vowel ending. Kshi becomes kshai. Ji becomes jai. And then you add the a and then you add the ti. So kshai, a, ti, kshayati. Degrades. Ji becomes jai. Jai, a, ti, jayati. Wins. Tr, tar. Rikara becomes ar. Tar and a and ti, tarati. Crosses. Dhru, drav, it becomes, ukara becomes out. First it becomes o, dro, and then an akara is added, and then ti comes, so it becomes dravati, melts. Dhr, also similarly, dhar, just like tr, dhr becomes dhar. Dharati, to bear. Dhayati is drinks. Ni, nai, this we have seen a lot. Nayati, leads or carries. Bhu is the dhatu after which the whole gana is named. This is called bhadi gana. The first gana is called the bhadi gana. So bhavati, bhu becomes bhav, bhavati is or becomes. So these are some regular roots where the r becomes ar, u becomes av, e becomes I. Ekara also becomes I. So this is a regular pattern that is followed. Bhr, bharati, bears. Smr becomes smar, smarati, remembers. Hr, har, harati, takes away or carries. Hwa, hwe becomes hwaya, hwayati, calls. So the vowels ending in e, u, r, and l occurring at the end of the root, like the ones we saw, e, u, r, and l become a, and then when a is added, it becomes I. Similarly, u becomes o, and when a is added, it becomes av. Like bhu, it becomes first bho, and then akara is added, which is the vikarana pratyaya. O and a become av, bhavati. So that's what is explained here. The vowels e, u, r, l occurring at the end of the root get changed to a, o, r, and al. So that's why we get, when it becomes the ni dhatu becomes ne, and then when a is added, it becomes nai, nayati. Bhu, bho, bhavati. Ji, j, jayati. Du, it should be dru. Dro, dravati. when the conjugational sign a is added, they get changed to a, I, o, and av respectively. Thus, bhu becomes bhav, ji becomes jai. Thus, they come under the regular group. The endings with I and au get changed to I and av. They also come under the regular group, like glai, glayati. It is to become tired. Dhyai, dhyayati, to meditate. Mlai, mlayati, to languish. Krush, here what happens is the penultimate letter. Shakara is the last letter. The penultimate letter is U. It gets converted into O. Just like the last letter which gets converted into O, and then because of the akara it becomes Av. Here the penultimate letter has U, which again becomes O. Kroshati, Krush, Kroshati, Shuch, Shochati, laments. Sid is usually used with the Ni upasarga. Nishedhati, to obstruct or to reject. Therefore, the change that has taken place before Shakara, Chakara, and Dhakara, the examples given above, they follow a regular pattern. So they also come under the regular roots. With Siddh, it usually comes with Ni, so it has become Nishedhati. Then there are some irregular roots. Pa becomes Pib. So there is no connection between the different dhatus under this group. You just have to know how they are formed in the Lat Lakara, and based on that, the other Lakaras as well. Pa becomes Pib, Pibati, drinks. Dhra, Ghra becomes Jighra. Ji is added before, so Jighrati, smells. Dhma becomes Dhamati. Mna becomes Man and Manati. So we can't see any pattern that is being followed here. We just have to learn the forms. Drish becomes Pashya, Pashyati. Da becomes Yachha, Yachhati. Stha becomes Tishtha, Tishtati. Gam becomes Gachha, Gachhati. Gup becomes Gopaya, Gopayati. Yam becomes Yachha again, Yachhati, controls. Next is the fourth conjugation where the Vikarana Pratyaya Yakara is added. So as with Ya and Ti, Asyati, throws. Kup, Ya, Ti, Kupyati, becomes angry. Krudh, Ya, Ti, Krudhyati, again becomes angry or is angry. Tush, Yati, is happy. Tripyati, is satisfied. Trasyati, fears. Divyati, plays or plays with a dice. These verbs we are familiar. Only thing we are looking at them from the grammar point of view. We see that Yakara is added before Ti is added in the end of Prathama Purusha Ekavachana in Lat Lakara. Dushyati, spoils. Nashyati, gets destroyed. Vrityati, dances. Pushyati, nourishes. Pushpyati, blossoms. Mukhyati, gets infatuated or gets mesmerized. Brishyati is to put up with something or to bear. Brishyati. Shamyati, to calm down. Shushyati, to dry up. Shlishyati, to embrace. Siddhyati, succeed. Sivyati, stitches. Snihyati, loves or to become attached to. Snihyati. Snehaha is the stickiness. So snihyati is to be attached to something. Next, we have the sixth gana, where akara again is the vikarana pratyaya. A is added. Kship, a, ti. Here also we see that the penultimate letter is ikara. If it were the first gana, it would have become a. Kshepati, it would have become. But since it's in the sixth gana, we don't do the transformation. We directly add the vikarana pratyaya a and the, and this gives kshipati, throws. Tud, tudati is to push or to goad. Dishati is to give. Milati is meet. Milati. So just add akara and add ti. Munchati is to leave or to drop. Likhati, to write. Lip becomes limpati. There is a slight change there. Makara is added. Paints or anoints or smears is limpati. Sprishati is to touch. Sputati is cracks or to burst. Vishati, enters. So the first and the sixth gana have the conjugational sign akara, but there are some subtle differences. Observe that the third variety of the first conjugation, if the penultimate letter is I-U-R-L, then when akara is added, it becomes A-O-R and Al. In the sixth conjugation, such a change does not take place. Like in kship, you just do kship-ati, kshipati. So this is the difference between the first and the sixth gana. So here also there are some irregular roots. Ish becomes ichha, ichhati. Sad, seed becomes sad, becomes seedati. So these are some changes which are specific to these dhatus. So there is no pattern again in this. The 10th gana, aya, is the vikarana pratyaya. Arch, aya, ti, archayati, worships. Ardayati, kills or causes pain. Arhayati is to respect. So arhati we saw is deserves. Arhayati is respects. Kathayati tells. Kshal becomes kshalayati. There is a minor transformation in the letter before the halanta. Kshalayati. Khand, khandayati, to cut. Gana, to count. Ganayati. Chitra, chitrayati, describes or to draw. Chint, chintayati, things. Churna, churnayati, to powder. Tarj, tarjayati, to threaten. Tarpayati, to please. Tal becomes talayati. Just like kshal, kshalayati, tal, talayati, keeps beat. So talaha we get from this, talayati. Dukhayati, causes pain. So usually the aya comes with a kind of a causal sense. Somebody which or something which causes the action is, we use the 10th gana or the causal form. Alayati, to protect. Pujayati, to worship. Purayati, to fill up. Prathayati, publishes or to make known. Prinayati is to please. Bhakshayati is to eat. Bhushayati is to decorate. Manayati, felicitates. Rachayati, arranges. Like they say Rangavalli Rachayati. So the Rangoli which is made, they use the word Rachayati. Rupa, Rupayati, to represent. Varanayati, describes. Sabhajayati is again honors. Santvayati is to pacify. Sukhayati is to make happy. Ghoshayati, announces. Chodayati, to goad. Chur, chor, chorayati, to steal. Tolayati, to weigh. Poshayati, nourishes. Marshayati, to bear. So here we see that whenever there is a hrasva, ukara, ikara, rikara, or lukara, like these dhatus, khush, chud, chur, tul, then we get the okara, ghosh, chod, chor. It should be tolayati. Tolayati ways, not tulayati, tolayati. I will correct this. Posh, poshayati. Push, poshayati. So the penultimate hrasva, ukara, has become okara. Vrish becomes marsh, marshayati. So these are the dhatus. With this, we complete all the portions of Pathamala 2. So you can begin revising all that we have learned so far. We will do some practice exercises before we go in for the test. I will announce the date of the test soon. And after that, we may have to do the appendices, and there are some anubandhas and also some bhashana Sanskritam lessons, which we will do the translations for. So I will take up the questions now. For Irshayati, we do use the Chaturthi Vibhakti, not the Dvitiya. Yes, you're right. So do we have to say Netram Milayati? Netram Milati, the action is done by the person who's closing the eye. So it is in singular only. Even if you say Netre, you have to say Milati only. Hrasva comes from hras, that is correct, to become small, hrasva. The Gana names are based on the dhatus which are in that Gana. I will put up the list of the 10 Ganas. In the first Gana, we had Kridati, Krid Dhatu. That is a Dirgha Ikara. When there is I, U, R, and the Hrasva, then these transformations happen in the penultimate letter. We will do the 24th and 25th lessons also. So what I'm trying to say is that there are no new concepts that are introduced after this, except for the Vritti lesson, which is, I think, the 29th lesson. So it is also something that you just have to learn. There is nothing much to explain. The names of the Vrittikara and the Vritti is given. So we just have to learn that. What is the difference between Parasmai Pada and Atmane Pada? So verbs are also classified into Parasmai Pada Dhatus and Atmane Pada Dhatus. So far, we have been learning only the Parasmai Pada Dhatus. Maybe in the third level, we will be introduced to the Atmane Pada Dhatus. Some are Atmane Pada and they have different endings. So we will see them at a later point in time. Whether to use netram because it already means to close the eye? No. There we have to specify that netram milati. Even though it is used only with the eye, we have to still specify the word. In Pachat neuter, first and second Dvivachana, it has two forms. Patat, patati, patanti. No, it has only patanti, patanti. It is not like Jagat Shabda. There is a Nakara in the Dvivachana form also. There are no two forms. In Pathamala 3, in PDF format, online. Is Pathamala 3 in PDF format, online? Yes, I think it is available. The English book, I am not very sure. I will check that. Okay, I think. Geeta Krishnamurti Bhagini, do you have a doubt?
Bhagini. Ratati, what was the meaning given, Bhagini, here? Ratati,
ratati is to make noise or to
noise.
Say it aloud. Yes.
Normally, we use that for Shabda Ratanam, some sort of
so
a dhatu.
Ratanam is to say it aloud, not just reading it in your mind, you're saying it aloud. So that is why it comes under. So Ratanam is used with, say, the musical instruments or anything which makes noise.
Normally, we do use it for Shabda Ratana, right? Suppose
that is a use which we see commonly, but it is also used in other cases. It's not just for Shabdas. It has nothing to do with the Shabdas specifically.
When we use the Vibhakti forms, normally we say, do the Shabda Ratanam.
Yes. Yes, that is because we say it aloud. That's all.
Dhanyawada.
Dhanyawada. Pathamala 3 is available only in Tamil, somebody says. Yes, that's what even I remember. Okay, so we will conclude here with the Shanti Mantra. Before we stop, I think next week we may not have class. So I will make the announcement. You will get the email announcement from Vyoma, but I'm not sure. I've not decided yet. So in case we don't have class next week, you can prepare for the test and revise all that we have covered so far. The test will include everything from the beginning till the dhatus that we learned just now. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayaha, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhave. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Dhanyavadaha. Shubharatrihi.